Me being in the room makes all of us better. This is not a favor. I'm not here for a box checking. You can look at any study and it will continually reinforce the idea that diversity, more women, actually makes more money for us. Around the time when I was growing up, hip-hop was just taking off. People like Salt and Pepper, A Kid and Play, a gentleman named Hurry, Lovebug, all lived in my neighborhood. So when I was 9 years old, I would see catty corner out of my backyard, Salt and Pepper practicing for music videos and things like that. It showed me that this cool cultural hobby could become this now trillion-dollar industry. And watching it firsthand, like my neighbors now all of a sudden are on television, although I didn't directly follow that path, I actually even kind of adamantly avoided it initially. I don't think it's a coincidence that I ended up now working with Puff Daddy, Brother Love, Sean Combs, whatever you want to call him.
Did you ever feel like you had to prove yourself or approach things differently than your peers because you were younger, often the only woman?
I did make a point of learning very quickly that you need to establish your expertise early. And I was always very mindful about the way I present in the room, what level of conversation, what personal things do I expose. For many years, even when I started working for Combs Enterprises in 2005, I wouldn't put one single personal effect up, one personal picture. We have a million parties, I wouldn't do a two-step. Because I was very concerned, I said I need to be taken seriously. So if I'm gonna walk into a predominantly male, some 5 rappers, et cetera, I need to come in, I need to get my information, walk in, always be pleasant and cool, but not to the point of allowing any piece of confusion. I was actually a promoter in my 20s also, and my friends who are also women, we used to have this clipboard theory where hold a clipboard in your hand if you're at a nightclub because people assume you're working. And that clipboard effect is something that whether it's an actual physical clipboard or the way you present yourself, that mentality has always stayed with me.
You talk about some of the industries that you work in being male-dominated or misogynist or cultures where these things have been accepted.
Yes.
Now that you're in this type of leadership position, how do you think about using your influence, using your voice?
I am intentional about showing we have appropriate levels of representation across the board because it makes the company better, it makes us better, and it makes us better as an example to the entertainment and lifestyle brand industry. I'm actually really inspired by the movement now because, during my time in my 20s, it never even occurred to me to report any man who said anything. It was more of how are you gonna handle it, turn it on its head, figure it out, work alongside them to move things forward, shut things down, and keep moving. And the idea that these brave young women are now nope, that's not acceptable. I'm incredibly inspired by the changes, even at this point in my journey.
You've worked with this incredible entrepreneur, Sean Combs. You've helped the business grow exponentially and the work that you've done over the years as well. What have been some of the biggest lessons that you've learned from him?
He really has a unique ability to understand what you're capable of, even beyond your own capabilities. So he's well known for spotting talent, musical talent, superstar, who's gonna be the next Mary J. Blige. But he does the same thing in business. To the point, I like to think I dream pretty big and I believe in the impossible, but if I think I could colonize Mars, he's gonna be we could do the whole Milky Way. Think bigger. Whatever you thought was the biggest dream, he will challenge you to be how do you times that times 3? And then when you accomplish it, you're damn, we did that thing.
If you were to rewind the clock, to the early part of your career, write a letter to yourself to give yourself one piece of advice at that moment in time, what would you have liked to have known?
You can be impactful in any room. And there's really nothing that you can't learn and apply and actually get the winning result that you're looking for. Even when people don't take you seriously, even if it's a knowledge base which you don't have, absolutely, genuinely, everything is possible if you're willing to work for it.